Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to get started with a macrame plant hanger. We'll need to grab a few things before we get started. First, you'll need two assorted colors of yarn. In this example, we're using neutral colors, and so I chose brown and yellow, or like a goldenrod mustard. And then also a D-ring for our hook. You can also use a circle ring. Very easy to find, hardware stores, craft stores. Also, we're going to be using beads in this example, although they are optional, and 4 strands of 5-foot pieces of rope, and that will be the basis of our macrame hanger. So to get started, I thought it would be easy to tape 4 ends of our strands together. I just used regular clear tape, pretty simple. This is totally optional, but I found it to be much more manageable to handle with, and we're gonna actually slip that through our D-ring and loop it in half. So if it's a 5-foot string, it's gonna be about 2.5 feet, and then the top will be our center. As you can see, I kind of measure it and fold it so that it meets with the other ends of the string. Just a reminder that the size of your string doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just matching it up so that it's a nice cohesive look. Of course, if you're using a longer string, it's going to be a longer project overall, and you'll have more room to design and add your own bigger size pot. This is more on the smaller side, and it is a good size for a beginner plant. And as you can see, I trim off the excess where the ropes lined up, just to give it a nice overall clean look. If you use tape to kind of keep your ends together, you can just trim it off. And then we're gonna work on the side with the D-ring, and we're gonna kind of hold our strings together. Now that we have kind of looped it, we have 8 strings once we are going to be finished with this project. So we're going to be working on the end with the D-ring, and we are going to grab our yellow yarn. Whatever color you have works, you get to choose. And we're going to grab the string of yarn and actually one of the macrame ropes and tie one simple knot really tightly onto the rope to attach it. And you're going to want to go down about 2 to 3 inches. The more you go down, the more thread you'll be using with your yarn. But I just went down 3 inches, maybe 2.5. And from where I tied my knot, I'm going to kind of hold it with my thumb and then gently and slowly wrap the yarn that we chose around our 8 strings. So I kind of have to hold it tightly. I'm left-handed, so I'm wrapping with my left hand. For those of you that are right-handed, you may want to switch hands for what you're doing. I just found it easier with my left hand because that's my dominant hand. And we're just slowly going around with our yarn and working our way up towards the end of the string and towards the ring. So by doing this, we're constricting the ropes together and creating this very tight-knit knot. And once we're at the edge of the ring and we give ourselves some room to close it, we're going to close it with another knot at the top where we stop to one of the other only one of the strings of the macrame rope. So as you can see, I cut off the end, or at least I tried to. I used the wrong hand, so I switched it over and I cut my yarn, but I give myself enough room to make a knot. So that's a couple of inches. And again, if you do make a knot and you have like a little tassel at the end, you can just cut off the excess. So right here, I just do a simple knot at the end, and that's basically closing the first part of our knot. And depending if you're using more than one yarn color, you can use multiple, but in this example, we're using yellow and also a dark green. You can actually use multiple colors and they could be different lengths. Like what I created is like about 3 inches of the yellow, and we're going to repeat the same exact process of tying the yarn to the rope with one string and then wrapping around all 8 strings with our second color. So you'll do that to the bottom of your plant hanger and also the top of your plant hanger. And this is kind of giving it the closures in which you're going to use to put your plant inside. So it's a really easy process and it's a perfect introduction to macrame and learning how to make your own plant hanger. So I really like this project because I'm not very good with making knots, and this is very simple and fun for me to do. So I hope you actually enjoy it as well and you found it just as easy. So I'm gonna start my second layer with my other color. Like this example, I used green and yellow. And our main example that I'm doing right now, I'm gonna go in with the brown and basically repeat the same process. So you're gonna see how I tie the knot to the rope again, and this will be just a little second refresher for what we did previously. So you can see me repeat the same process with the brown yarn, and I'm tying the simple knot. And once again, after we tie the knot, you can cut off the excess string that is left hanging. So right there on the left, I cut off the excess string just right about now. And again, repeating the same process, we're going to hold down with our other hand, with our thumb, the 8 ropes, and then with our dominant hand, we're going to wrap around our brown yarn this time and slowly wrap around all 8 strings, and going in a downward motion, we are kind of creating our next layer for the threading. So as you can see with my brown yarn, I'm actually getting ready to close it off by tying the knot to the single string of rope. And this layer was a lot shorter, but I just wanted to give it more dimension. If you'd like to add more layers, you are more than welcome to. But for this example, I just wanted to do maybe 3 to 4 inches of tying your threads around the rope. I feel like it gave it a really good look. And then again, we have to do the same process on the bottom of our strings, but that will come later. So at this point in the project, we're pretty much halfway through with creating this plant hanger, and we will be repeating the same steps in a short while. But before then, I'm going to show you how I add the bead fixtures to our macrame. So with the plastic tape, I taped 2 ends of 2 of the ropes, and I used it to make it easier for myself to thread them through the beads. If you prefer a more simplistic look, you don't have to use the beads. Again, it is totally optional and up for your own imagination to edit and create your own individual piece. So now that we're almost done with our project, what I do here, I basically eyeball where I want my bottom portion where the plant will be sitting to go. So I decide to tie my last string to one of the strands, and again repeating the process that we've already seen twice before. And so I will go ahead and start that. So much like the beginning of this project, we're going to do the same exact process in the way we finish it, and they are pretty much the same. And once you're done tying that last knot, you are finished and your project is complete. Just be sure to cut off excess string that you might have kind of lingering about, but we are finished, and I hope you like this example. This is one without the beads, and I also showed an example with the beads. The one that I just did right now, that's what you see with the nice beautiful plant. And don't forget to tag us and show us pictures of what you created. We would love to see them. And thank you again so much for watching. Good luck and have fun!